Hey, what's up you guys? It's Brett Wiederhold here, and today we're going to talk about a new bylaw that just passed in Toronto regarding short-term rentals. Do you rent out your condo or basement through Airbnb? If you do, this video is definitely one that you have to watch because I'm going to go over some of the new changes regarding short-term rentals, Airbnb, and the Toronto bylaws. So, good news for people that rent Airbnb in Toronto. They're not banning Airbnb rentals. So as of now, a lot of landlords or professional Airbnb landlords are renting out secondary suites through Airbnb. A secondary suite is a unit that is not lived in by the principal owner, and it has a self-contained floor. So think of a basement apartment, for example. So like I said, as of now, a lot of basement apartments are being rented for a short-term rental through Airbnb. Short-term rental being under 28 days. The new Toronto bylaw that just got passed is now limiting Airbnb rentals to principal residences only. Unfortunately, not so good news for people that are doing the secondary suite rentals through Airbnb at the moment. These new regulations, by the way, are going to be passed or starting on July 1st of 2018. For people that are still interested in renting out their suites via Airbnb, you're allowed to still rent out up to 3 rooms or even your entire house or condo through Airbnb for up to 180 days per year total. So why did Toronto even bother to take a look at Airbnb and the short-term rentals and change the bylaws regarding how you can rent out your apartment? The very first reason that this even mattered to Toronto is because there is such a low vacancy rate in the Toronto area right now. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there if you're looking for a place to rent in the Toronto area. So by putting new regulations on secondary suites in the Toronto area, this decreases the number of secondary suites that will be used for short-term rentals. This means that landlords that own an upper floor and let's say that basement apartment, they will now be looking to rent that basement apartment out as a long-term rental for a 1-year lease and longer, for example. So that essentially increases the amount of rental units available in Toronto, and that will hopefully allow a lot of the people that are looking to rent in Toronto that are having a hard time find more places. Airbnb statistics were saying that there's about 20,000 short-term rentals listed in Toronto on Airbnb. So if we can open up those 20,000 rentals and turn them into long-term rentals, that opens up a huge amount of rentals for people looking to live in Toronto and will take the stress off the vacancy rate that Toronto was so worried about. The last reason I think that Toronto had a look at the Airbnb rentals is I think there was a little bit of pressure from the hotels as well. If we think about it, let's say there's 10,000 rooms that hotels offer, and then Airbnb suddenly comes and 20,000 more units come on, and only, let's say, 5,000 people come in at every single month looking for short-term rentals. Usually the hotels would have all 5,000 spread out amongst their 10,000 units, but now there's 20,000 more units for those hotels to compete with. So I think the hotels might have kind of knocked on City Council's door a little bit and said, we're losing a little bit of business and you need to help us out a little bit. So that could be a reason why these rules came into effect as well. So overall, these rules starting July 1st, 2018 don't necessarily ban short-term rentals. Like I said, you can still rent out your primary residence or up to 3 rooms for 180 days per year. You just need to get a license now in order to do that. And finally, if you're a long-term renter and you are renting out your apartment through Airbnb for weekends on a time, if you're out of town, you're still allowed to do that. However, there are still some regulations that might apply to you if you're a long-term renter still renting out short-term rentals via Airbnb. So I would definitely still do a little bit of research before you're renting short-term rentals out on Airbnb. So that's it for this video, everyone. I just wanted to give you a quick update with the new bylaws that passed in Toronto regarding short-term rentals and Airbnb. Please, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button and share this with the people that might be using Airbnb to rent out their condos or apartments in Toronto. This video is highly valuable to those people, and I'd love if you could share it around and let everyone know about these new regulations. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Brett Wiederhold, and I'll see you next Thursday.